Hello and welcome today to this presentation of my YouTube channel through which I discuss my book, The Dichotic Dilemma, The Fabric of Life. Day by day, one struggles with the resistance of doing this, fighting the constant thoughts of whether anyone at all is going to listen to this, whether it's going to have any impact at all out there in the world, whether this is just a waste of time. But I suppose what I need to always connect to is the purpose for all of this. Ultimately, what drove me to write in the first place was my difficulty of accepting some of the more unfortunate aspects of our existence. War, injustice, racism, poverty, all these issues that take away from the quality of life of human existence, human strife in general. And whether I have anything good to offer or anything that will actually make a difference for anyone is what I always struggle with when I'm feeling like not doing this at all. But suffice it to say, I'm here anyway. And when it's all said and done, in my heart of hearts, I do want a world that works for everyone. I don't even know what that means or what that looks like. But I certainly know for a fact that when I see and have seen human suffering, it's been very challenging. And that's what in the first place led to the writing of the book. A real visceral struggle with the pain of human existence. And I suppose at 35 years old today, a man with children of his own, priorities change, but I haven't quite let go of the dream. I haven't quite let go of the idealism, and new ideas and new insights are always pouring in. New ways of seeing the world. And sometimes incredible things about what is possible out there. And so I find myself back here again. And I suppose trying to enter this media space where there's so many YouTubers and bloggers and many people giving various and different opinions. I suppose, why can't I add mine for whatever difference that's going to make? What I do believe is that I have a positive message, that I do want good for the world. And I'm reading a book that said something quite interesting, because sometimes you're driven by numbers. How many people watched the video? Has anyone shared the video? Is it going to go viral? But this book that I'm reading said one thing that was very interesting, that to the point that if you change the life of one person, then that alone is worth it. So that touched me and that moved me. And I suppose I've been doing this for about a week now. And on the last few occasions, I've been checking how many views I had. And of course, I haven't had that many. And that was immediately demoralizing. But then the question is, what's truly important? And I suppose when the desire that I have to change things on a global scale, on a planetary scale, I suppose it is natural to want to get a large following. But having read that book and being given that insight, it's given me a new perspective. There's quite a famous motivational speaker called Les Brown who said that everyone has a book inside of them, and you should write and get your message out and let your heart and your soul be heard. And I suppose this is what I'm doing, because ultimately, who am I to speak on these issues? Apart from, I suppose, someone who cares and has cared deeply, and it's cost me quite a lot of my own personal enjoyment, and a lot of personal suffering, and resignation from life when confronted with life's myriad challenges. So I suppose at the very least and at most, my books are just an expression of my soul, and that's all there is to it, and that's all I offer. Just the voice of my heart. And I suppose by saying that, I give myself some license and freedom, because on occasions I feel I don't even know anything. There are a million experts out there, and historians and economists and political scientists, theologians, physicists, all manner of people, who, even philosophers of days gone by and present, who have pondered these issues. And yet here we still are. So then it's like, who are you to speak on any of this? But all I can say is what occurred to me was this desire to write. And so I wrote, and because it's an expression of opinions and thoughts and feelings in the moment, at times it seems they were not even my words, and they seem as foreign to me as they would someone else reading, perhaps. And maybe that's why there can be hesitation. But ultimately, I suppose all one can do is say what's on their mind. And I guess it's not too uncharacteristic. We do live in the time of bloggers and YouTubers and podcasters like Joe Rogan, millions of subscribers. So the Breakfast Club, etc. I guess what I'm doing is not that uncharacteristic. So at the end of the day, I guess it is a space to communicate with the world. And maybe that's the advantage we have in this internet age, where you can disseminate your message and your voice right throughout the globe, the internet, in a moment. That's truly amazing and truly powerful. And quite a lot of the time, you see some bloggers or YouTubers, if you wish, expressing all sorts of opinions. I guess one more won't harm. And at the very least, where I feel I have good intentions about it, um, how do we create a world that works for everyone? Is that even a feasible concept? How do we get around capitalism? You can see how the capitalists, Donald Trump, etc., are so attached to their idea of capitalism, um, and how all these other systems have been brandished as tarnished and dangerous. And on the surface of it, capitalism uh, has seemed to work more effectively than the other systems. But I suppose there's a lot in and between all of that. So I guess all I can do is carry on and state and restate that my hope and wish um, is for a fair world. And this is natural, being someone who is black and African, uh, in the world we inherited from the past through colonialism and slavery. It's only natural that one can hope for something different. And I guess that's what, again, as I said, brings me here, sharing the insights and the years of deep introspection that brought forward these books. And ultimately, that's all a man can do. Um, so that was a bit of a ramble, but it has been a bit of a thoughtful few weeks with quite a lot of personal events happening, which make one have to really think about the point of it all, as I do anyway. So I will carry on with the reading and say before I carry on that I do have a 4-year-old who's just started school, beautiful boy, and my daughter, she's only a year old. And when one looks at the seeming problems we have in the world, what will the world look like for them when they're my age? And as a father, I suppose I do have that duty to say and do what I can to make it better for them. and this is part of it. So, as I say, my writing is just everything that came into my mind, into my heart, and onto the pen. So I don't even know how to class it or what to class it as, really. But what is for sure is that the message, the ultimate message, is about creating some kind of, I don't want to say progressed, I don't want to say advanced, but I don't want to say egalitarian. Anyway, I'll leave it at that because a lot of things are becoming apparent as I interact with new material and new ideas. But at this stage of this YouTube channel, we can discuss these more interesting ideas that I'm coming across in future dates. So for now, here we go. Reading from the Dichotic Dilemma. The survival instinct is the fundamental human input, the fundamental human reflex, the fundamental input and reflex of any animate creature. It is this fact, coupled with our higher functioning minds in relation to other presentations of life on this planet, that creates the human social realm of existence. As human beings, we are able to think and feel in a complex way, and our intelligence allows us to exist beyond just the range of instinct, but to be emotionally and intellectually complex. Hence, our minds allow us to ponder on and create such things as right and wrong, justice, politics, technology, good and bad, religion, art, and such abstract ideas and thought processes, as opposed to just instinctive perceptions of fear, fight, and flight that are more existent in the lesser-minded creatures and beings on the planet. We are not distinct or separate from the laws of nature. We just perceive them in more abstract ways due to our intelligence as opposed to just fundamentally through instinct and some emotional cues. Hence, life presents itself through the input of individuals in an earth-based social sphere through time, and we interact powered by our idiosyncrasies and similarities as individuals and groups, creating an existence, our existence, in this plane, all encompassed within a spectrum of extremes from positive to negative, with regards to the inputs of every existential variable which contributes to our lives as human beings, highlighting the importance of understanding the concept of balance as a fundamental teaching which will then contribute to a more harmonious existence amongst human beings. The only then remaining question is why? Hopefully we can expand on this age-old question as we delve into the book. Therefore, my attempt in this book, or with this book, is to try and apply a functional perspective to more abstract ideas using the pillars for debate that I have discussed and identified above, in an effort to try and deliver some insight into human action and existence beyond the idea that others are good and others are bad or evil. I find the idea to be too simplistic as it negates the input of, I believe, the more intrinsic variables and factors which can shed some light into who and what we are and why we act in the ways we do as individuals and groups. So join me as we delve into my emotional response to life and my perceptions as I attempt to understand them. This is because I believe that understanding our emotions, actions, and perceptions is the way to understand ourselves, who and what we are, and maybe why we are. Hence, we shall go back 5 years to the beginning of this odyssey of self-expression and begin the journey from there. Please read on. Thank you. So as I say, this is as much a journey for me as it is for the reader, because when I have written, it's quite a transcendent, if not transportative state, and at its height is extremely blissful. I was on a natural high, as it were, when I was writing, and it was fantastic. But it's a while ago now, and you do come back down to earth. And so I'm engaging with the material anew, and suffice it to say, I hope that, as I've stated at the beginning of this video today, that if the message can reach even just one soul, even just one person, then the job is done. So until next time, please like, subscribe, and enjoy. Thank you.